greenhouse effect is a very important phenomenon that warms the Earth's atmosphere, and we need to understand how it is. It's in the news all the time, and we ought to be familiar with what happens. And to begin to understand that, we first have to remember there's different kinds of radiation. Let's look first at the kind of radiation that comes from the sun. It includes visible light that coming from the sun. That's what this image shows. You could look back at chapter 2 and see this image. Sun has got a temperature of about 5,800 degrees Kelvin, and it produces radiation that extends all the way from the far infrared, here's infrared all in this region, through the visible region where the curve has its peak, and then a little bit of ultraviolet as well comes from the sun. So all the three kinds of radiation, ultraviolet, visible, shown by the rainbow in here, and infrared, all come from the sun. That radiation enters the Earth's atmosphere and is absorbed. It passes cleanly through the air of the Earth's atmosphere. We know the air is transparent to this kind of visible radiation, for example. Is absorbed by the surface of the Earth, by the ocean. And what is it re-radiated as? Very different kind of radiation. It doesn't shine back as visible radiation. It shines back as infrared. Here's a graph that shows what the curve of radiation re-emitted by the Earth looks like at approximation. This isn't quite right. The Earth is actually a little bit hotter than this, so the curve extends a little bit further over to the right. But the important thing is it does not reach the visible part of the spectrum. So what's re-radiated from the Earth once it's absorbed is infrared radiation. You know that it can't be re-radiating visible, because if it did re-radiate visible radiation, the Earth would glow, and we know that it doesn't do that. So let's look for the consequences. The next diagram shows us how the greenhouse effect works, and we start by looking at these large yellow arrows. They schematically represent all of the incoming visible radiation from the sun. A third of it strikes clouds and polar caps and oceans and is bounced off and goes right back into space. But 2/3 of it, shown by this long arrow, passes entirely through the clear atmosphere of the Earth and is absorbed by whatever it hits. The surface of the Earth, the surface of the ocean, trees, plants, whatever it strikes. And then it's re-radiated. The re-radiated radiation is shown by the red. This is actually infrared radiation, and here's where the greenhouse effect comes in. Carbon dioxide molecules in the atmosphere, methane molecules, water vapor as well. These all absorb some of this infrared radiation, re-emit it, broadcast it out, it shines out, it's absorbed again, re-emitted again, absorbed again. Eventually it passes out of the atmosphere, shown by this arrow, but in the process it's warmed the Earth's atmosphere, and we're about 40 degrees Celsius warmer than we should be because of this effect, resulting from carbon dioxide absorbing the infrared radiation re-emitted from the surface of the Earth.